Hey guys, Hydra Undead here, and I am back with another video. This will again be a creepypasta, like I did the Clan Daniels Man in the Mirror. I'm thinking of doing this as like a series. I'll be reading different creepypastas, things like Jeff the Killer, Slender Man, all that stuff, and yes, Slender, if you know of him, is a creepypasta, as a matter of fact. And so today, there's a creepypasta that I will read to you, my own personal creation. But before we get started, a few updates to the channel I have to get out. Sorry, got a bad sore throat. So the first update is I was really kind of thinking, and I decided that with me saying just, hey guys, Hydra Undead, I was maybe thinking that I could, instead of saying that, say like, hey Hydra Empire. I was thinking maybe I could call you the Hydra Empire. So with that, tell me what you think of it. Uploading schedule, I'll have a schedule. I think it should be like the weekends, and like Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. With that, I'm kind of excited because I can. Zoom's not working, but it's almost 8 o'clock right now, and I'm waiting for Walking Dead to come on. I'm so psyched for this episode. It's gonna be. I know it's gonna be really good because it's Walking Dead, and you can't deny Walking Dead. But it's kind of a long creepypasta. Kind of long, kind of not long, but you see, handwritten. Handwritten. Nope. Kind of thick. Try and get a good view on that. Yeah, it's a thick creepypasta. I think it's like 11 to 12 pages long. But anyway, let's get into the creepypasta. So I'm going to turn the camera around so you can see my face while I read. Alright. What's up, guys? Hopefully this doesn't stop recording. Gonna make sure. Yeah, it's still good. Alright, so handwritten creepypasta. Alright, so first page, kind of an introduction. It's kind of not that great. I'm still editing and stuff, so bear with me if you don't really like it. And just leave in the comments below what you thought of it. Here we go. Hi, I'm John. I'd like to start by saying, don't do what I've done. Anyway, here's my story. It all started when my friend, I'll just call him Ty, he asked me if I'd heard about this new site called Shinigami no tenjine. Well, I said no. See, I haven't had time to use the internet because of work and errands. My schedule's been so tight, I haven't had time to play with my kids, Sally and Jake. So I decided to take the week off and try the site. Apparently, you can rip CDs, watch videos, blog, and chat online. Then I remembered I rented a few games, so I decided to rip them. They ripped and downloaded properly onto a file on my desktop. They also operated properly when I had opened them. So I went on playing Super Smash Bros. Brawl, but when I got to the Master Hand fight, the final battle, if you didn't know about Super Smash Bros. Brawl, which honestly you have to, there were bodies all over the arena and blood on Master Hand's fingers. And then I saw it, that face, that dismantled, terrifying face, just sitting there watching me. Not my character, me. As soon as I saw it, I ran for my Wii cord, but before I got there, or even touched the wire, a paralyzing, maniacal laugh surged through the room. I was terrified. I couldn't go to sleep that night. And I'm not an insomniac, so that was unusual for me. So the next week, I went to work, and on the way, I could still hear that laugh in my head. And that face, just thinking about it sends chills down my spine. When I came home, I went straight to bed. No time for the kids or Shinigami no tenjine. I had a nightmare that night. When I woke the next morning, my pillow was a pool of sweat. Later that day, I went online and discovered that Shinigami no tenjine means place of the Reaper gods. It kind of scared me because Reaper gods? Who in the right mind would use Reaper gods on an online blog site? Also, my nightmare showed me, get this, a Reaper. But no need to worry, right? That's when it hit me. Maybe I should try the game again. It loaded normally, like the last time. Well, at least I thought so. Halfway through the loading screen, almost loaded, the face and the laugh had come back. Worse than ever this time. Worse than the last time. This time with a faint scream of a woman in the background. And this time the face was closer and even more terrifying than before. It looked more like a skeleton with a knife, with razor teeth and deep, soulless eyes. The first time I saw it, I screamed, but this time I was terrified. It was drawing me to it. I couldn't look away. I was paralyzed in some sort of trance. Then Jake ran in crying and hit the Wii with a hammer. But it broke out. I broke out in a scared and happy cry. Jake said I was sitting there a whole 3 days. 3 days? I was shocked. It felt like 3 minutes. And his hand, it was cut. It looked old by a day or two. That alone made me believe what Jake had said. That's when I saw it. That man, the thing, I don't know what it was. All I knew was it had Sally. Luckily, I kept a gun in almost every room in the house, like the one I was sitting in. So I ran for the gun and opened fire. When the bullets reached it, that creature, Sally and the creature vanished. Just gone. Not even a trace of its presence. I was terrified. It ran off with my little girl. I thought this until the bedroom door started shaking fiercely. I heard a voice whispering my name softly in my ear. I ran to the door of my baby girl's bedroom and opened the door and grabbed my baby girl. She was 7 at the time, so she didn't really understand what was happening to her. A few days had passed, and the creature didn't show up until a late Saturday evening when the kids and I had sat down for dinner. Someone had knocked on our front door, and when I opened it, my wife had stood on the front porch. But that couldn't have been. She had died in a terrible car accident a year ago, and that's when I thought. That's when I had hit me. Maybe that thing might be a Shinigami. Shinigami means Reaper in Japanese. When my dead wife started moving, I screamed and ran for the kids and told them to stay by my side at all costs. I had a feeling of rage and loads of adrenaline running through me. I was pissed. It was toying with my wife's soul. Even if you're Thanatos is the Greek god of death, is just metaphorically speaking, even if you're Thanatos or a Reaper, you shouldn't be doing that. That day would be the day death runs from me. That day would be the day that death runs from me. I had fought back against it. I attacked my wife with bloodshot eyes. I didn't know what to do. That's the only thing I could do. It had never appeared after that day. I put my old baby monsters in Sally and Jake's room. They do share a room in this. They're both young. The next morning, I told Jake to finish eating because I wanted to show him how to use a gun. He told me he would do anything to protect his little sister, so I figured it was the right thing to do. I taught him the basics, like how to work the safety lock, the trigger, and what the mechanism does, and how to reload the gun, and how to clean out the gun to make sure it doesn't blow up in your face. That night, I put the gun from the game room and hid in Sally's room. Then about midnight, I guess, I heard gunfire and slicing or chopping, and then I heard a scream of a young male child. I ran to the kid's room, and when I opened the door, I felt a wet, warm feeling, and then I froze. When I turned the lights on, I saw the Shinigami from the day before, from the week before, it was standing over what looked like to be a body, Sally's body, but parts were missing. Then I saw the parts. They weren't on Sally. They were on the floor, and the Shinigami was laughing. That laugh from the game, and that scream. I realized it. It was showing me the future, but the Shinigami had come from the game. I was so angry, and I just opened fire on it. I didn't know what else to do. I was drunken with rage. First, I shot its head straight in the eye. Very accurate shot. I used to be a military sergeant. Then in the chest. I guess it didn't notice me because it couldn't vanish. I guess it didn't notice me when I had walked in because it didn't vanish this time, like it had the time before. I fell to the floor. It fell to the floor motionless. Then I looked at Sally. She was in pieces. My little girl, dead. I guess the neighbors had heard the gunshots, because the police came a few minutes later. That was all that I saw of it for years. 10 years had passed since then. Jake is now 21, married, and a commander in the FBI. I am now a school security guard working for the Thurmanton High School. So, I hope you listen to me on this when I say Shinigami no Tenjin is a death sentence to humans and a summoning place for reapers and demons. Never, ever use the sites like this. Nothing involving reapers. Don't even name it that. And if you ever do, look at the encryption, look at the ritual type symbols on the top. Anyway, goodbye. So, that was my creepypasta. I gotta go now, because hopefully I can upload this to YouTube.